I'm Nick Shell, and I have all the answers in my pocket on this piece of paper. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you psychologically unpack your hair loss anxieties. Let's see what happens today. So I got a comment on a video I made yesterday called Thinning Hair, When to Buzz It Off. This is a bit long, but I think we do need to go through it all. Unchained Romeo had this to say, quote, "Not saying it's a bad thing, but Nick, I think your approach to life is too positive. In my opinion, people don't see you as a balding, thinning man because your hair situation makes sense at your age," which 36 by the way. "Western culture expects a white man in his mid-30s to look like you when it comes to hair, and I personally think you look super good for a 36-year-old man. But it's all about the correlation between age and hair situation. If someone's 50 and has your hair, that's pretty good, but if someone at 21, 23 has the hair of a 40-year-old man, that's not considered good in our culture, and people will judge that. All it takes is one person to say anything. Maybe comment with someone else saying, quote, 'Hey, have you noticed how bald John Doe has gotten? LOL,' end quote. People talk about other people, even if they like someone and appreciate his virtues. If his hair doesn't correlate to his age, they will judge that man, even if they don't notice that. I wish I could be such a positive guy like you, man, but I'm not. Most people are not," end quote. This is relevant. Let's talk about this. I just made a video talking about hair loss and comparing that to being slightly short as a man. And I feel that this ultimately accidentally piggybacks on that, because in this scenario, he's saying that people can think that you're a nice guy, that you're a helpful guy, a likable person, a beloved person. But ultimately, even with all that, they're still going to, what in the world? There's turkeys. This is weird. There are turkeys in the parking lot. Do you see that? I mean, I really was not expecting turkeys. And like, they're probably worried what I'm gonna do. But those are wild turkeys in the parking lot. No, lucky for them, I'm a vegan. So they've got nothing to worry about. I do not want to harm the turkeys. But you can see those turkeys, right? Right? They're just hanging out. It's just a family of turkeys hanging out. I should take a turkey selfie. That is so weird. I mean, I've crossed right here before and I've seen a snake. And I've seen like some kind of beaver or something pop out of the sewer. But I've never seen a family of turkeys. That is in the parking lot. What was I talking about? Oh, okay, so even though John he's funny and he's likable and he's talented, but still people whisper, yeah, but did you see he's kind of going bald? He's too young to have so little hair, okay? But let's change the story back to the guy that's worried about height. You know what? John, he's a likable, he is funny. Man, he's talented. I like that guy. He's one cool guy. I kind of envy that guy. Well, except for one thing. He's kind of short. Hey, you know what about John? He's a cool guy. He's a likable guy. Everybody likes John. He's a good looking guy. His nose is kind of big. It's kind of crooked. Did you ever notice that? So we could go on and on about this. We can put hair loss on such a pedestal. We can make it this epic, demonic thing. But ultimately, what I'm going to say to you is, you can do this about anything. And it can just as easily be done towards females, especially towards females. I think females have it a lot worse than we do, because there's so much judging and standards that go on females' weight. Our culture is very confusing when it comes to women, because they're like, just be you. You're beautiful on the inside. And then yet they look at the magazine and it's these really thin women. And you know, it's a matter of, yes, you're beautiful on the inside, but also your health actually matters too. And you've got to separate being healthy and eating right and exercises versus not being some, anorexic looking model. So I think they definitely have it worse than this. But I think this is a pretty universal thing. And because this is a channel about hair loss, we ultimately are just like hyper focused on that. Is that some kind of like international symbol for hyper focused? And that was just one. If it's hyper focused, it should be. That's a horrible sign language thing that I just made up. So that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say you can say that about hair loss, height, nose, weight, whatever it is. But ultimately, even in this comment, Romeo pointed out the fact That people are ultimately noticing these other things. It's like, he's great, he's funny, he's fun, he's cool. But have you noticed? And so at the end, there's this little imperfection. And maybe that's just how people are. Maybe we like to remind ourselves that we are just as normal as everybody else. And that we all have great, there's the turkey. Look, dude, there's the turkey. He's like the leader of the pack. I'm being chased by turkeys. I mean, they're kind, and so am I. But dude, turkeys. The turkeys, there they are. All right, I'm gonna go this way for the turkeys. So yeah, ultimately, I think it's human nature for us to know how imperfect and flawed we are ourselves. We're all aware of our own flaws. So for us to point out others' flaws, it only simply points out the fact that we ourselves are insecure. We ourselves are insecure. And that's the fundamental issue. Whether it's you worrying about your height, whether it's you worrying about your hair loss, you want to feel better about yourself, and so does everybody else. So people naturally will point out the good and positive traits in people, and then ultimately do a little bit of a jab and say, but here's his flaw, here's her flaw. That's what people tend to do. So it's not a matter of, is your flaw are you gonna be the guy they say, oh, he's cool, he's funny, he's nice, but have you seen his hair? Is it gonna be that? Or is it gonna be, but have you noticed he doesn't quite have the fashion sense? Did you see where those New Balance sneakers with khakis? That's lame. They can make that about anything. So if you're worried about that, you're ultimately always gonna be under someone else's judgment, someone else's thumb. And it comes back to the fact of, what is self-esteem? It's you having confidence in yourself, not on others. If it's self-esteem, it's based on you, not on what other people think. I know that's easier said than done, but what we're noticing here is, we're talking about the positive first. People are noticing the positive first, and then they're tagging on some kind of thing that keeps you from being imperfect, or keeps you from being perfect, just like they're not perfect. That's psychologically and fundamentally what this is all about.